You taught they're still God's chosen people?
Yes.
The New Testament says the nation of Israel is no longer God's people. The people of God is the church. Your view about Israel is wrong. They're not God's chosen people. The vineyard is what?
Israel.
And the tenants, the vine dressers, are the rulers, right?
Yes.
And their last chance, their last hope of getting it right was what? The owner, who's God the Father, do as their last chance to get right. He sent his son last of all, right?
Right.
All right. So then Jesus already says their what response will be. They'll kill him.
Yes.
When they kill him, what is God going to do?
Therefore, I tell you that the kingdom of God will be taken away from you.
From who?
From the Israelite.
Yeah, so why would you say they're God's chosen people? Jesus just said, when you kill me and reject me, the kingdom will be taken away from you. So where did you get their God's chosen people?
All right, Shalom. This is the brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwad, who are believing this word, in all truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is the name of the one they ignorantly call God. Yahweh Shai is the name of the one they ignorantly call Jesus. Bahashem is in the name. Rakah is spirit. Kodash is holy. Akyam is brothers. Akwad is sisters. Shalom means peace, and Yasher Allah is Israel in ancient Paleo Hebrew. This is Jeremiah chapter 33 and verse 23. And it reads, Moreover, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah, saying, Considerest thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which the Lord hath chosen, he hath even cast them off. Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Thus saith the Lord, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. All right, and I want to go into a lesson on this short that I caught, through the spirit. And the guy in that short is a very familiar face. All right, he's one of those guys who rolls with vocab. All right, and he made a statement, all right, that is not biblical. All right, and that statement is that God has cast away his people, and that the Lord's people, the Israelites, are no longer the Lord's chosen people. All right, so I want to start off with this verse. I also want to get this. This is Romans chapter 11 and 1. I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. All right, so I want to go into a lesson on this because what he tried to reference was Matthew, the 21st chapter, in that parable that Yahweh Shai spoke of concerning, and I'll just get to it. All right, and we're going to start from the top. So I'll get it before I expound on it. This is, let me start at 33. Matthew 21 and 33. All right, and it reads, Hear another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard and hedged it round about and digged a winepress in it and built a tower and let it out to husbandmen and went into a far country. Now, see, he made the comparison, right, that this parable was saying that, the wine dressers were the Israelites. And really is talking about the rulership, those who were ruling over the Israelites, because it mentions which planted a vineyard. All right, now let's get that vineyard. What is that vineyard? Let's go to Isaiah 5 and 7. And it says, For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, and behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. So this is the vineyard itself is the nation of Israel, not just the husbandmen. The husbandmen are the shepherds that have caused the flock to go astray. But the vineyard being discussed here is the Israelites in general. All right, so let's go back to it. Matthew 21 and 33. Here another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard and hedged it round about and digged a winepress in it and built a tower and let it out to husbandmen and went into a far country. Let's go back to Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5:1. Now I will sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a fruitful hill, and he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest vine and built a tower in the midst of it and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And I will lay it waste, and it shall not be pruned nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression, for righteousness, but behold a cry. So the vineyard we see in Matthew, the 21st chapter, is the nation of Israel. All right, that is the vineyard. That is the context. So those husbandmen, all right, that he lent it out to, let's go back to verse 33, Matthew 21:33, and I'll read the end of it. And it says, and let it out to husbandmen and went into a far country. All right, now those husbandmen were the wicked scribes and Pharisees. All right, let's get this. This is Matthew 23:1. Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. So they were in a position of power. All right, and Yahushua is basically saying, look, you know, they sit in Moses' seat. So what they say, do, but not after their actions. All right, because they say and do not. All right, now let's go back to this. All right, verse 34 reads, and when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen that they might receive the fruits of it. And the husbandman took his servants and beat one and killed another and stoned another. Again, he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But last of all, he sent unto them his son, saying, they will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. And they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard and slew him. When the Lord therefore of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto these husbandmen? All right, so keep in mind these husbandmen are the shepherds that have led the flock astray, because the vineyard itself is the nation of Israel. Verse 41 reads, they say unto him, he will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their seasons. And Yahushua saith unto them, did ye never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner. This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Therefore say I unto you, the kingdom of God shall be taken from you and given to a nation, bringing forth the fruits thereof. Now, again, this is directed towards these wicked scribes and Pharisees who sat in Moses' seat. All right. This is what it's directed towards. It's not saying that the Lord has done away with his people. We just started this off with Jeremiah, the 33rd chapter, which the Lord had already called them out, saying that they desire to say that the Lord has done away with his people. Romans, the 11th chapter, Paul himself says, has the Lord cast off his people? God forbid. So now we understand the proper context of that parable he tried to use to justify saying the church has replaced the Israelites. All right, now let's go here. All right, this is Galatians chapter 2 and verse 7. All right, and it reads, but contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of uncircumcision was committed unto me, and the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter, for he that wrought effectually in Peter to the apostleship of the circumcision, the same was mighty in me toward the Gentiles. All right, now you have to keep in mind, Christians say that, Paul was sent to the Gentiles and Peter was sent to just the Israelites. When you understand the scriptures in its proper historical context, Peter was sent to those Israelites who are already keeping the customs. That's why they're considered the circumcision. All right. Paul was sent to those Israelites who were not in the customs. They were coming back to the customs. This is why they're considered Gentiles. And the same word for Gentiles in this verse, Galatians 2:8, let's get it, says ethnos, a multitude, whether of men or of beasts associated or living together. When you go to the other verses, the verse we just left, Matthew 24:43, is also mentioned. So Paul was instructed to go to these Gentiles, all right, and his ministry is toward these Gentiles. Now let's also see how Paul describes his ministry. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 18. And it reads, "And all things are of the Most High, who hath reconciled us to himself by Yahushua HaMashiach, and hath given to us the ministry of reconciliation, to wit, that Yahweh was in Hamashiach, reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing their trespasses unto them, and hath committed unto us the word of reconciliation." So again, Paul is sent to the Israelites that were far off, that were in other customs, and he was sent to those to gather them back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. This is why his ministry is known as the ministry of reconciliation. If it was natural Gentiles, it would be the ministry of introduction or something of that nature. It would have nothing to do with being reconciled back to it, because they were never involved with it in the first place. All right. They were never given the law, statutes, and commandments in the first place. It wasn't committed unto them. So it wouldn't be a ministry of reconciliation by Paul if the Christian narrative was true. His ministry would be an introduction to the laws. It would be an introduction into Israelite culture. He wouldn't say something like this, Salakia, in 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. 1 Corinthians 10:1, "Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea." If he was talking to regular Gentiles, they wouldn't even know what he was talking about. And this goes to show who these Gentiles actually are. They're Israelites. All right. This is why when you go into John the 7th chapter, I'm going to jump down to verse 34. And it reads, "Ye shall seek me and shall not find me, and where I am, thither ye cannot come." And this is the Lord speaking here. Now, verse 35, it says, "Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?" And I'm bringing this out because this shows you that Israelites during Yahushai's time on earth, all right, during the time of Acts, during the time of the Gospels, Israelites were being considered Gentiles. It was a derogatory term toward Israelites who were not in the customs. They were called uncircumcision. They were Israelites, but they were considered uncircumcision because they were not in the customs. All right, let's get this. I believe it's the All right, so it says again, dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles. All right, when you go into the NIV, it says, "The Jews said one to another, Where does this man intend to go that we cannot find him? Will he go where our people live, scatter among the Greeks, and teach the Greeks?" Which showed you that, again, Jake was considered Greek. That's why it says they dispersed amongst the Gentiles. They were considered Greeks, but they were Israelites. Just like Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans might identify themselves as American, but that's not their proper nationality. They are American citizen, just like Paul was a Roman citizen, but he was an Israelite. All right. And this shows you that the Lord the scriptures say the Lord did not cast away his people. But if you are unlearned, a guy like this in this short little clip will convince you that Christianity is true from a real short really it's a perversion of the scriptures. Because you have to ignore all the scriptures we just brought out to make what Christianity is saying true. All right, we know that the Lord said this as well. Jeremiah 31:10. Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. For the Lord hath redeemed Jacob and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. So what you see in the New Testament is a fulfillment of this, the word going and being preached to the ends of the earth, because Jake is scattered unto the ends of the earth. And the controversy was the Israelites who were already keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. They didn't take kindly to Israelites returning to the heritage. They actually rejected them. All right, let's go here. That's the controversy that's happening in the New Testament. The Gentiles that can receive salvation are still Israelites. All right, but according to the law, there were certain laws that if you broke them, you were cut off from your people. You were still an Israelite, but you were basically excommunicated. Paul was going to those who were scattered, who were into different customs, but they were repentant. They wanted to come back. They wanted to return to their heritage, and they had access to that through the mercy of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. All right, this is Matthew 18. And I'm going to jump down to this is verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican. He's still an Israelite, but to them he's a heathen. And I'm bringing this out to show that this is the actual controversy that's happening in the New Testament. It's not talking about the Lord casting away his people, but the Israelites that were into other customs that were returning to the Lord. That was the Lord gathering them. All right. And this was that controversy. All right. So Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.